Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It's been a while. I just want to let you know this is just a hobby. It's fun. I don't get any compensation or monetization. I don't want monetization because then you have a whole bunch of rules that you have to abide by. And the other thing, all the handhelds I buy out of my money. I don't have sponsors, don't want them. Um, I think it's funny when people find out that I'm a YouTube streamer, they're like, "Oh, well, that's how you have so many handhelds." No, I buy them with my money. But I think that we're headed down a very dangerous path with the video game industry. I believe personally, PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox, the major game companies, don't want you to own anything. They would rather you use their rental online service. And the reason why I call it rentals is because when you stop paying the subscription fee monthly or you relapse and weren't able to pay it, you have nothing. All the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance and the N64, on the online Nintendo subscription service expansion pass, you own nothing. And I really believe that these video game companies would rather you own nothing. Because if you don't own anything and you want that back, let's say, out of nostalgia, you want a game, 5 to 6 years later, they can just charge you more or the same price. A lot of these remasters and remakes, and the remaster, sorry, I dropped my phone. The remaster has, a couple of features or better frame rate, but still at 60 or more. No, I am fully convinced that these major game companies want you to own nothing because they even say out of their own mouth, Ubisoft, you don't really own anything. They're just keys that validate you to play the games, and the games aren't even on the whole disc anymore. Perfect example, Grand Theft Auto 6, whenever that comes out, it's going to be 200 gigs rumored. These games are getting even bigger in internal storage. I was talking to someone at Target yesterday and I said, "Yeah, the game key cards are garbage," because they heard me talk to my son. And I said, "Don't look at that garbage." And he's like, "Your dad said that's garbage." And I was like, "Yeah, it is garbage. The game's not fully on the cartridge, and you still have to provide the storage for each individual game." And then when people go, "Oh, the game key card, you could at least sell it." If you don't sell it at a loss, then someone will buy that exact same game key card at a different store. The game key cards are garbage. Even Nintendo, I called them up and they agreed with me. They said the game key card doesn't, you don't benefit off of it. I told them this exact thing. And they said, "I agree with you." And then I'm on the forums for the Switch 2, and I said, "Hey guys, wouldn't it be cool if they made GameCube cartridges for the Switch 2?" And they're like, "Ew." And I'm like, "What do you mean, ew?" If they made GameCube cartridges for the Switch 2, that would take away the internal storage that you have to provide for all the GameCube games. And I don't understand why we have to have North American and Australian, Europe. Uh, it doesn't make sense to me. There should be a way, Nintendo, to filter out what GameCube games you don't want, because every GameCube game you're gonna add Pokemon Coliseum and all these different games. They're going to be a really big file size, And then your internal storage is going to get eaten up even more. The Switch 2, you have to worry about Switch 1 games and Switch 2 games and GameCube games. It's bad enough the Switch 2 is an Express SD card. It's not even a regular SD card, so it's even more expensive. I think I saw a 512 gig Express SD card for $130. I am so sick and tired of all these game companies, Sony, PlayStation, whatever you want to say, using proprietary memory cards. When they use proprietary memory cards, it costs more money. And I think it's intentional. I think they do that on purpose. The PS Vita, the 32 megabyte memory card, I'm sorry, 32 gigabyte, 32 gigabyte, megabyte. That's back in the day. 32 gigabyte, $100. I imported a 64 gig PS Vita, whatever that card was called, the memory card. I don't remember whatever it was called. I'd have to look. I have my PS Vita. I'd have to check the memory card. But anyway, I'm just saying, the PlayStation Vita prototype used SD cards. The PSP used Pro Duo memory sticks, and then you could use micro SD adapter Pro Duo memory sticks. Every time a game company uses proprietary anything, it's expensive, and it makes it even more expensive. Perfect example, the PS Vita, it has a proprietary charger. Well, you only get one charger with a system. So if you lose that charger, your PS Vita is worthless. That's why at least the PS Vita 2000, there's a 1000 and then there's a 2000. The 2000 used micro USB. But then they cheaped out on the screen. The screen is an LCD instead of AMOLED. I know it's a huge pattern with all these game companies. They take away the older generation from the newer generation. Now, let me explain. You'll understand. When the Wii came out, it had GameCube compatibility. That means it had 4 GameCube ports and the memory card slots, obviously. And then Nintendo came out with a red Wii that had no internet. They took out the internet and they took out the GameCube compatibility. And then PlayStation. The PS3 had PS2 and PS1 compatibility. For them to save money on production, they took out the Emotion Engine. The Emotion Engine is the thing that emulated the PlayStation 2. And then add insult to injury, they give us back the PS2, but in an emulator, and then make you pay double that amount. Let me explain. So on the PS3, there was something called PlayStation 2 Classics. I bought all of them. I bought the Grand Theft Auto, the San Andreas, the Vice City, the 3, right? I had to rebuy the same exact PS2 Classics on the PS4 that's using the same PlayStation account. How does that make any sense? It doesn't make sense. It just shows you how greedy Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox is. Xbox, the ROG Ally Xbox, doesn't even play original Xbox or Xbox 360 games. And the crazy thing is, people defend it. It's $1,000. It should be able to play the original Xbox and the Xbox 360 games. I got news for you. My Steam Deck can play original Xbox and Xbox 360 games because I use Batocera. Batocera is an emulation operating system, basically. And the Steam Deck can emulate up to Switch 1 and down. That means the Steam Deck, excuse me, the Steam Deck can emulate PS3, PS2, GameCube, Super Nintendo, all that good stuff. I got 20,000 games on my Steam Deck. I bought a 1 terabyte SD card off of Etsy, and bam, I got a huge library of games. And I did that for my Retro Pocket 5 too. I got the PS2 and the GameCube and the 3DS and the PSP, all that good stuff. And yes, I'm a pirate. Get over it. Because I got news for you. These game companies don't want you to own anything. So what's the difference of these game companies? Hello. Hi. What's the difference of these game companies letting you play their games off a virtual console, but then tell you, oh, we shut down the eShop store and they didn't reimburse you your money, but you can't get the games? How is that legal? It's like these game companies are ripping us off legally, basically. If you knew about the 3DS, the Pokemon games were like $40 a piece. And now because they shut down the stores, you can't get the games that you bought? Oh, because of terms of service, you're borrowing their software? That's what they say. You're borrowing their software. Even Windows operating system, if you paid $500 for that operating system, you're borrowing their software. That's what all these game companies really believe. They really believe that we don't own anything, basically. And now, because the games aren't on the disc anymore, we really don't own the game anymore. And now they really are just a key to activate your usage, and it could be declined or taken from anytime. The Crew was an online only game. They took it down. People bought The Crew. They literally took a game away from you that's online only and kept your money. That's where we're headed. So if you think I'm going to feel bad about these multi-billion-dollar companies, no, I don't. I'm a pirate, and I'll be a pirate for life. Arg. Besides, these game companies don't even want you to back up your own games. I own plenty of games, and I back them up. I have a device. It's called a MIG switch dumper. You put the switch cartridge in, and you dump the ROM onto your computer, and then you can play it on any device you want, using an emulator, of course. But I'm just saying, these game companies don't want you to back up your games. Do you know why? Because if you could back up your games, you don't have to buy it if it got broken. You don't have to buy it again if it got stolen. I can't be the only one that knows what the video game industry is doing. And then Jeff Bezos, right? He says we shouldn't even own computers. So let me tell you what they're going to do. You are not going to own a computer anymore. You're going to be using the cloud streaming servers. You're going to be using other people's servers, and you're not even going to own your own computer. Because what they're going to do is they're going to raise the prices of the RAM, the CPU, the GPU, and it's going to be so astronomical that you won't be able to afford to have your own computer. So if you got laptops like me, I got a couple of laptops, and I'm going to get a desktop before this madness, but keep them. They're going to get really valuable. They already said that RAM and computers are more expensive than the CPU of the actual computer. That's madness. And it's all because of AI, the AI bot farms. It's making RAM, everything. All the prices are going up, up, up. And guess what? RAM is in everything. That's what you don't get. It doesn't matter if you're not into video games. Maybe you're not into video games. This channel is all about video games and politics. But anyway, I haven't been doing politics lately. Video games is my passion. Let's put it that way. I want to own my own video game store someday. I will help all the people with all the video game knowledge I have. I have basically 80% knowledge of this whole population on Earth about video games because I was born and raised with video games. I've been playing video games since 9 years old. I'm 35 now. My birthday is January 28th. But anyway, my point is all these game companies would rather you own nothing. They don't want you to own a computer anymore. They want you. The reason why the PlayStation Portal works without a PS5 is because you're using a different PS5. You're using the cloud streaming. You're using a PS5 that you don't own. And then I think it's NVIDIA GeForce Now, something like that. These cloud streaming want to charge you for how many hours you use. They don't want you to own anything, nothing. Klaus Schwab said it. By 2030, you're going to own nothing and like it. I have a theory that they don't even want you to own a car. I think the reason why they made these bike lanes is to have less cars on the road. These 15-minute cities, these are all real things, people. They would rather you use Uber, Lyft, Instacart, all those different apps that deliver to your house and then you don't even need to leave your house. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to take the second pandemic, not pandemic, plandemic. It was all planned by the elites. But anyway, they wanted to quarantine us and then use all these apps so then you don't need a car and then you don't need to pay insurance for every month. Maybe that's good for people, but it's not for me. I don't want to lose the ability to be able to drive whenever I want. And that's what they want. The self-driving cars. They say if it's safer for self-driving cars to drive, would you give up your right to drive? No, I will not. I will not give up my right to drive because it's a right and it can be taken away. A lot of people don't realize your driver's license is a right that can be suspended indefinitely. I should know. It happened to me. So my point is, be grateful if you do have a car. I don't anymore. I had to get rid of it. Be grateful if you have a license, and then that opens, even more jobs available. Just freedom in general. To have a license is freedom. I can't imagine someone that's never had a license before. I've practically had my license my whole life. Anyway, meaning like my age to have a license until now, of course. Like I said, it's suspended indefinitely right now. But anyway, all I'm saying is they don't want you to own anything. They don't want you to own your CPU. They don't want you to own your GPU. They don't want you to own your RAM. They don't want you to own your game systems. Nintendo considers this a lease and that you can't do anything that Nintendo doesn't want done. Yeah, I got news for you. Okay, Nintendo and PlayStation and Xbox. If I paid $500 to $1,000 for these things, I'm gonna do whatever the flip I want with it, baby. You're lucky this isn't Facebook, because Facebook, I swear, but on YouTube, I try and not swear. Sometimes I swear, I get mad, I'm human. But anyway, my point is, if you're paying $1,000 a band, whatever you want to say, I'm gonna do whatever the whoop I want with it. Whatever the flip I want with it. You guys can go fly a kite. PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox. I got news for you, Nintendo. I wouldn't be downloading GameCube games if you just made it available to buy. Ugh. And then we could talk about the dystopian future of all digital future, right? Oh. Nintendo hates piracy now. When it's an all digital future, piracy is going to be even more rampant than it already exists. And then, what are you guys going to do? Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Huh? There's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do, Nintendo, while we play Zelda Ocarina of Time 4K on the computer, the PC. Ooh, the PC. Yeah, exactly. Nothing you can do about it. So keep messing us over. Keep taking advantage of your loyal customers. I used to be a loyal customer. I ain't a loyal customer anymore. No. No, Nintendo. I ain't a loyal customer. No, PlayStation. I ain't a loyal customer. Even Xbox. I ain't a loyal customer no more. I'm tired of you taking advantage of us and taking as much money as possible any which way you can. Nintendo paywalling Metroid Prime 4 Beyond music. Paywalling music. That means you intentionally took the music out of the game to make more money. I don't want to hear, oh, they're a business. They got to do this to make money. They're multi-billion-dollar companies. I don't care. Boo! While I eat ramen, you think I'm going to care about how much money these greedy companies make? No, I don't. I do not care at the least. I don't feel bad about downloading Mario Bros. Wonder. I don't feel bad about downloading anything. Multi-billion-dollar companies. Stop protecting them. Stop defending them, Nintendrones, Sony ponies, Xbots. Stop defending them. They ain't paying for your survival in life. Are they paying you personally? No. They could care less about you. As soon as you stop paying them money, they don't care about you at all. Nintendrones, Sony ponies, Xbots, fanboys drive me insane. I ain't no fanboy. I'll tell you what I am. I'm an entrepreneur. I buy all the systems. I buy all the games for every platform. I play all the systems. I play all the games. It's beyond me why someone wants to limit how many cool, experiences you can have just because you feel you have to defend Nintendo, PlayStation, or Xbox. Fanboys, man, they drive me insane. Fanboys drive me almost as insane as liberal Democrats. Liberal Democrats, man. Liberal Democrats are just from another planet. Seriously. I was talking to somebody and they wanted to blame Donald Trump for this, blame Donald Trump for that. And then they're like, Russia. So I said, oh, you're a broken record. That's what I said. I said, you're a broken record. It's always Russia. And it was a hoax. Russia did not, get involved with the elections. And then he's like, oh, the same way they blame Barack Obama and Joe Biden. And I said, hold up. Let's get it straight right now. Barack Obama deported many illegal immigrants. They were all for deportation. In fact, they deported those illegals out of, what is it called? Martha's Vineyard, right? I think so. Martha's Vineyard. I hope so. I'm getting upset. But anyway, and he's the first one to throw them in cages. He took all the illegal immigrants and put them in cages. Donald Trump didn't start that. Donald Trump didn't put them in cages. Barack Obama did. And then he had the audacity to say Joe Biden. Joe Biden is why we're in this mess to begin with. Alejandro Mayorkas lied out his butt. I'm trying not to swear, but I'm really mad. Alejandro Mayorkas said our border security was secure. I got news for you. Here's a reality check, people, okay? ICE wouldn't be needed if our border was secure. Oh. See how that works? It's a domino effect. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris didn't secure the border. Now ICE is needed to get these illegal immigrants out of here. They ain't newcomers. The illegal immigrants are illegal. That means they're breaking the law. Do you understand that? We have laws that secure the border that's being broken. That's what ICE is going after. ICE is going after illegal immigrants. We wouldn't need ICE if it wasn't for those morons, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Alejandro Mayorkas and Jean-Pierre and Jen Psaki. Oh, I didn't forget Jen Psaki. No, I did not. The whole last administration were jackasses. That's the closest I'll get to swearing. The last administration was a horror circus. You understand that? You call this a circus. No, this ain't a circus. You guys are so used to nonsense that you don't understand what order means. You got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, okay? And I fully support ICE. If I could, I'd work for ICE. But I have a criminal record, so they don't want me. But my point is, we wouldn't need ICE if these illegal immigrants didn't break the law in the first place to come into this country. I feel bad for the families that come into this country that want a better life. But if they do it illegally, they're just as bad as the criminals that do it on purpose. Why don't you understand that? What are laws for? What are other borders in other countries for? But America has to be an open border? Does that make any sense? No, it does not. All those liberal Democrats do is demonize. They call you all these different names under the book that you're not even affiliated with. And the reason why they do that is so then it could basically, I'm trying to think of the word, give a reason or, I'm trying to think of the word, sorry. Not authorize. You know, make something sound so terrible that of course you should do this because of this reason. I can't think of the word. Reinforce. There we go. Sorry, I couldn't think of it. I'm still a human being, okay? Cut me some slack. But they demonize us because then they can reinforce, oh, well, if they really are blah, 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 then we should do this. Or we shouldn't treat them this way. We should treat them that way because they're less than human beings. No, no one on this planet is less than a human being. And if you start labeling people, you are an evil person. Simple. Everyone should get the respect that they deserve, that they give. But if you don't show me respect, the very first time you don't show me respect, I'm not going to show you respect. Because respect is earned, not given. And Grand Theft Auto, respect is everything. Best believe it. That should be a motto for life. Respect is everything. I remember when I was in school and my teacher was being rude to me and raising his voice. And I just laughed at his face. I said, "Oh, you really think just because you're a teacher that you could treat me any way you want and that I'm going to show you respect?" No. I only show respect to people that I actually respect. I don't put on a show for no one. I ain't no fake person. That's another thing. You got Facebook, right? The fake book? No. My Facebook is real. 100% real. But yeah, just a warning. If you find me on Facebook, I swear a lot. I have a lot of pent up anger. But seriously, these liberal Democrats, man, they are so stupid. Why are you so stupid? All right. Well, I think this video was good. I liked it. Hopefully, you guys liked it. I went from here to there. One thing you got to know about me, I go from 100 to 1,000. I'm just passionate. I'm passionate about video games. I'm passionate about politics. I'm passionate about family. I love God. I love Jesus Christ, who is God manifest in the flesh. I make that very clear because on Facebook, they're like, you can't really believe that Jesus Christ is God. And I'm like, it says the word is, and the word is God. The word is with God, and the word is God. Jesus Christ is God manifest in the flesh. Simple. Yes, I really believe that. I'm a Bible Baptist. I'm a King James believer. Oh, and that's another thing. You read the King James? Yes, I read the King James. And if you can't get over that, don't be my friend. Simple. Stop trying to force me to believe something I don't want to believe. I ain't going to force you to believe anything you don't want to believe. So don't do it to me. All right. God bless.